事实上，在毛泽东统治中国大陆将近1/4个世纪的时间里，他和他的亲信已经将毛泽东这3个字塑造成一个神格化的领袖。然而，这位领导人带给广大中国民众的却是令人难堪的屈辱和痛苦。接下来，我们要听听一些见证者对于文革时期的回忆，包括老师遭到学生批斗、地主的儿子被人剖腹生吃内脏的恐怖事件，还有被毛泽东视为竞争对手的刘少奇遭到迫害的悲惨下场。
The commander of the army, Lin Biao, and Mao's wife, Jiang Qing, were behind his bid to return to power. Together, they elevated Mao to a godlike figure. Their textbook was the little red book of Mao's thoughts. 300 million free copies were handed out to the people.
但是工人呢，就说，本来是生产任务完不成，后来一学毛主席语录，马上就完成了。后来光说这些不行，还得搜集材料，就是运动员。乒乓球运动员打得不好，一学毛泽东著作，马上乒乓球打得好。但是我们画画的也没有，就只能说本来画得不好，一学毛主席著作，就可以画的这个艺术性也都提高了。大家都是尽量夸张的来说这些。我们生活在北京，就跟伟大领袖毛主席离得特别近，就是我们是得天独厚的最幸福的公民。
我记得非常清楚。通栏的标题是"全世界人民热爱毛主席"，当时我们都感到很惊讶。你说中国人爱毛主席，大家也许觉得还对，那怎么全世界都热爱毛主席
？At the vanguard of the Cultural Revolution was Mao's army of Red Guards. Their mission was to rebel and destroy.
红卫兵从学校里杀出来了，我们要造反，造党内一小撮走资本主义道路当权派的反。我们要革命，革资产阶级牛鬼蛇神的命。我们要大战革命之风。
The saying was, without destruction, there's no construction. So you would see the students marching through the streets of Beijing, shouting slogans, down with all authority, down with the old world, up with the new world. And in front was a huge portrait of Chairman Mao. He was the authority that allowed them to be against all authority, except for him.
All those in authority were singled out as targets by the Red Guards.
On the night, the unforgettable night of June 6th, I was dragged out of my bed by Red Guards, my own students. I saw, my goodness, all the professors and senior lecturers were down on their knees, with their heads bowed, listening to a harangue by one of the student leaders. And I was thrown on my knees because they were kicking me from behind. The very student who raided my rooms on the night of June 6th, who was at the head of other students, was the one I had tutored with special care on instructions of the chairman of the department. So he was the one who took the lead in shouting slogans, down with ruling corn, down with U.S. imperialism. He called us cow demons and snake spirits out of the Chinese mythology, I suppose, so that the people, the populace, could easily identify us as monsters, as evil spirits, not their kindred spirits. Since we were already ghosts and monsters, so that we were no longer human beings, you see. So they could be dealt with as demons and monsters.
Wu Nin-kun spent 20 years condemned to hard labor before he was rehabilitated in the 1980s. Others were not so lucky.
在整个在文化革命期间，我被斗了100多场，3次把我打得昏死过去。最惨的一次呢，就是在67年3月17号，那次呢就是斗了1个下午，8个人轮流打我，都把我打得昏死过去了。那个汗呐，头发掉了一地。后来他们从第2教室楼把我拖回我的宿舍32楼，我完全没有知觉。结果当时就是我只剩了有一口油气。我说我完全为了这个国家，我也是为了这个党，怎么会说我就成了反革命了呢？我当时就觉得我就可以死了，我就不想活下去了，我觉得活得太艰难了。 可这时候我耳朵里边就听了坚决打倒反革命分子沈大力，沈大力畏罪自杀，罪该万死，因为她是我的女朋友。第二天要斗她，她自杀了。我父亲呢？我父亲当时在陕西省水电厅当总工程师，后来就把他架到3个桌子上斗，完了把他踢下来，当时就昏死过去，牙也都掉了，头也磕破了。他给我舅舅打了一个电话，当年我舅舅只有40岁，在新华社当记者，我舅舅40天被活活打死了。哎，后来我的外祖母只有这一个儿子，我的外祖母是个满清贵族啊，他呢，后来因为我舅舅死了，家里人不敢跟他说，就骗他说去陕北了，说出国了。最后他也知道了，他就神经失常。
Mao said, if you don't kill your enemies, they will kill you. In parts of China, people took this to extremes, as Zhong Yi, a young Red Guard, discovered later.
开头有这种屠杀，因为这个不同的政治观点，或者不同的出身、不同的阶级，于是就可以杀人，然后杀到后来杀得疯狂了以后，然后这才开始了吃人。就是他认为，就是刚才我说那个杀掉你不足以表达仇恨，那么就是把你吃掉。整个那才是一种真正的我的这样的一种阶级觉悟，我的阶级立场的一种表达。这个贫下中农就觉得这个要搞阶级斗争啊，必须要，但是他们已经没有阶级敌人可以斗争，可以杀害了，所以呢，就突然想起来这个老地主还有一个儿子在邻村，于是呢就派民兵把这个人抓回来。把这个青年抓回来，用尽各种酷刑，这个拷打他，甚至用那个烧红了的那个锅铲去烫他，最后把他折磨得昏死过去。最后就把他拖到江边上，然后由我去采访的这个老人叫易婉生，他自己亲自动手，把他活着就剖腹，就像杀猪杀牛一样，就把这个内脏、把他的心肝掏出来，然后切成这个手指头这么大一块一块的，然后就村里的这些人就大家拿来就分吃了。
Mao was the son of heaven. Such was their devotion to him, the Red Guards would commit any crime, endure any suffering in his name.
我自己就把这个毛子这个用锥子在自己胸前就扎了一个窟窿，把毛泽东的这个像章别在自己的身上。当时我想的就是这样的话，我再穿上衣服你看不到，我就把毛泽东就是别在自己的心上了，就是这样。就像有我这样经历的人是很多的，所以后来毛泽东提出这次运动不是要整这些就是平头百姓，而是要整党内的走资派，那么我们就是获得一种解放感，所以后来我们才参加了这个就是参加了文化革命。
For 17 years, the younger generations had been indoctrinated, regimented, and the personality cult had been already in effect. This is why whatever Mao called upon them to do, they would do it, and furthermore, they would do it 10 times better than what he wanted.
I did see him sitting alone, and he had withdrawn from the parapet where he reviewed the crowd and had gone back under the pavilion where there were soft drinks and chairs to rest, and he was sitting down just looking absolutely miserable, looking like full of misery, full of hatred, and it was like, I mean, I'm speculating, obviously, but it was like he felt everything's going to pieces around me, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Then came the final humiliation of Liu Shaoqi, the president of China, the man whom Mao regarded as his rival. Liu had been a loyal colleague of Mao's for more than 40 years.
Well, Liu was designated the big fall guy, the main victim of the Cultural Revolution. And he and his family suffered dreadful persecution. He was totally loyal, but he was described as a traitor. He was drummed out of the party. He was a sick man who needed medication and treatment. He was deprived of that. He was sent down to an old prison without anything round him except a blanket and left to die without any medical assistance on the floor of that prison. He was kept alive long enough to be excommunicated from the party at the party conference. And when that was done, he'd served his purpose, and he was in effect killed.